today we are going to talk about how you can turn this into this. That's right, I'm going to tell you my experiences on how I made $400 a month on TCG Player. Let's go. Alright guys, now this is of course a corresponding video to Monday where we have been discussing starting your Pokemon business, and of course on that video I told you that today we would be doing this wrap up of the TCG Player bulk program where I went 30 days of selling bulk in a new trajectory. I tried something new when I set this up. I had done some research trying to find the most efficient ways to do this, and yeah, it's a little bit of work on the setup, but overall the results have spoke for themselves. So today we're going to be talking about how I made $400 in TCG Player and sales. And then the total breakdown. We're going to go ahead and talk about how I acquire bulk, how I've done that, and how I continue to do that moving forward, how I list it on TCG Player, and what kind of strategy I came up with, and then last but not least, the overall wrap-up of how it performed. We'll look at the total sales fees and then the shipping costs and what we ended up with for total profit for just 30 days of actual selling stuff on TCG Player. So once again, guys, if you want to sit back, relax, and we're going to get into the first section of this, which of course is going to be acquiring the bulk. Alright guys, so a lot of people have that question, and I know that that came up actually on my video on Monday, which is a good question put up there, and I hope that the person that asked that is here today. And today I have done a few different ways that I've acquired bulk throughout the years. Now I started acquiring bulk in 2019. I always had the thought process that I could acquire enough and then start to sell it on TCG Player or different sites in order to start filling people's orders for battle decks and things like that. Well, with the craziness of 2020, I kind of lost sight of that. Even though I was still collecting bulk, I really didn't do much with it besides just collect it around. Now, one way that I've always collected bulk, of course, is I've done pack openings on this channel. Most of the modern Sword and Shield sets, I have done pack openings here on the channel, looking at products, looking at packs, and looking at the pull rates of certain stuff, especially for the first 4 or 5 months that I was on YouTube. That was kind of my thing, was doing pack openings instead of just talking about the Pokemon TCG. From the beginning, I used to do one day a week where I would just talk about investing in the overall performance in Pokemon, but my main channel goal was, of course, pack opening. Drifted away from that due to the success of the investing side of things, helping people understand the market from a different point of view. And that's where I got away from pack openings, which left a position where I'm not opening as many packs and we're not moving as much bulk. So I had to start substituting in a different direction. And I've acquired over 25,000 cards so far in probably the last 4 years just by doing this simple little technique. A small, probably about 20, maybe 15-20% of that has come from my pack openings. The rest of it I acquired it through different ways. Number one way that's been very successful for collecting bulk is putting out an advertisement. I put on my local sites or my local like Hayward sites and Ladysmith sites and things like that I am purchasing Pokemon bulk. Of course, living here in northern Wisconsin, the only way that we can get rid of bulk is to actually ship it out. And if we're shipping it out, then you're going to pay the expenses of USPS to put it in a flat rate box and ship that product. Now, if you don't have to ship it, and I can offer between 1 cent and 1.5 cents per card for common, uncommon, and of course the whole breakdown, and I can put the list up next to me on how my listing goes. And I can pick those up and go pick them up from you because I work in the area. I work in all these towns several times a day or several times a week. So I shift around depending on my work area, and I can come pick it up straight from your door. You don't have to pay for shipping. It's a little bit less money up front, but hey, it ends up being a little bit more in their pockets, and I pay a little bit less at the end of the day for the actual cards. It's great. It works out really well in that strategy. The other way that I do it is I have purchased quite a few like binder collections and collections from people, whether it's VMAX all the way down to WotC era cards. When I do that, I always ask them, do you have bulk? Because how many of you, even in this channel that are watching this channel today, have ETBs full of bulk cards, just like this, just like this one here. Laid out here, I've already sorted 2 of them in 100 in the commons and uncommons, and then of course I've got a bunch of hollows inside of this particular one that I have not sorted and got listed out. That is the other way that I get a lot of bulk. Sometimes you can get these for free, guys. If you actually ask people when you're buying a collection, maybe throw in a couple extra dollars or don't haggle as much on the collection, you can actually get the bulk at a really, really low rate of free. And that's just because you're willing to take it. People that are building binder collections or getting out of Pokemon in general don't care. They just want it gone because they're going to have to pay shipping and they're going to have to work to get rid of it, and they really don't want to. Also, if you want to and they want to make a little bit of money on it, of course, I offer them the same programs. If I can get bulk for around a penny to a penny and a half per common uncommon, and then of course the rest of the breakdown does really well. And that's how I've acquired quite a bit of my bulk. A good mass of it, 75 to 80% of it, has all been acquired through that form. So it's been a really good situation for myself to be able to get that and turn it into something a little bit more worthwhile. And that's the biggest part at the end of the day. It's just making money. How do we continually do this? And this is how you used to do Pokemon back in 2019, is you used to do the grind. That's what I started doing, buying these cards and then going through it. 2020 I kind of stopped because the market went crazy and there were more opportunities in different areas. And now I'm kind of looking back at this, because as this market is hot, yes, but as for investing side, it's really difficult to decide where you want to purchase and what you want to sell. And it's more of a seller's market. Yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money, but overall I want to build that reputation to give me another avenue to be able to continue to move this business forward and continue to make this self-sufficient, which is what my goal has been this year. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at how I list these particular products. All right, guys, so now we're going to look at the listing side of this. Now, this was a strategy that I've learned from a couple different places on YouTube and talking to a friend that actually sells bulk for Magic, and they do the exact same thing. This has been a strategy that works really well for them. And if we go ahead and do a breakdown, I'm going to put it down on the screen below. So if you look below me, this is just their standard layout. And what they're doing is starting here, we've got our common, uncommon, just non-hollow cards. They always put them up for 15 cents. Then they go to right here, which is going to be your reverse, just your reverse hollows, and they do 20 cents flat. Now you're going to come over to here, and that's going to be your hollow fees, and that's going to be, of course, 25 cents. And then last but not least are just your standard chase cards or your Vs, VMAXs, all those other cards, which they typically just list at market price. Some Vs, they have a minimum floor of $1 or $1.25. It's up to you. You can play with that number for what works and is successful for you at the end of the day. And that's how they list these cards out. So once again, Vs, VMAXs, so Vs, they'll go $1, VMAXs, they'll go $2.50, and then alternate arts, of course, a minimum of like $10 to $15 for the worst ones that are out there. There aren't very many that are even at that price range. Now, I'm not saying that you need the 100% state of this template. The good news about this is that some cards, even in a common, uncommon, will sell for about 20 cents, especially trainers. And if you're at 15 cents, that brings people into your site. And then on top of it, I do this, which is I list everything with a $1.99 or 99-cent shipping. By doing that 99-cent shipping on there, it automatically makes it so that I cover all of my shipping fees for most of these products. Granted, if someone buys a ton of bulk, then of course I'll have to put on a 3-ounce stamp or something like that, which has been my worst case scenario so far. But overall, this has been a very successful tactic to be able to cover all my costs and actually make a little bit of money at the end of the day. So once again, this is kind of the format that I've been doing. And of course, there's certain cards. So if you even go common, uncommon, like Fusion Strike has the Judge Trainer card. That card is going for $2 to $3 roughly every single day right now. And if you list it at about $2.50, it sells pretty darn quick. I've listed them at $3 and they sell out really quick. So overall, that's a nice card to be able to watch. So when I put on TCG Player, I'm going to put it down below me again right here, of course, so you guys can see it one more time. This is the listing that I love about TCG Player. If you look at the first one, this gives you right here, gives you the listing for the actual current lowest selling price. So you can see the current lowest listing on TCG Player right here at this window right here. Then if you move to this one right here, you will be able to see where you actually got your last sold. So you can see down below what the last sales price was and the shipping that wasn't paid in order to ship that particular card. And last but not least, going right over here, you're going to be looking at, of course, the market average, which is a nice little layout when it comes down to it. And then the last two over here are going to be where you fill out your quantity and your price. So it's a really good and useful tool when you're laying these out, when you're entering all these cards into TCG Player. It really works out good, guys. You can actually sit there and see, well, this card is going for, 75 cents. Well, I can list this hollow then at 55 and know that's going to be a draw to my site and still make it a little bit more money than that 25 cents. So once again, I have a floor. There's no price where I won't go below, but I will work with the TCG Player pricing in order to have those draws and get people into my store. Why do I want them in my store? Well, they're already paying 99 cents shipping, right? And if they're already paying 99 cents shipping, a lot of times they'll buy multiple things. I do the exact same thing when I'm on TCG Player. You could set your shipping at $1.99. I've seen people be successful at that too. I've considered it, but I just haven't gone to pulling that trigger. But if you were to do the $1.99 even, people come in, they come to your store, and I do the exact same thing. I look for multiple items that I need from one place. Why? Because it's all one shipping price. So the more stuff that I can get into one cart, the more money that I will actually save at the end of the day on the shipping costs. And if I buy 20, 30 cards from one place that I'm looking for, of course, shipping just continually gets washed down. And overall, the people that are listing at $1.99 with that many cards are covering that 3-ounce stamp or 4-ounce stamp, whatever they got to put on the envelope to get it to you. So once again, that's a good feature for actually drawing people in. Once people are in, they typically buy more than just one card. So you're paying 15 cents for a card that's only valued at about 1 to 2 cents. And that's where I talk about you're going to get 10 to 15 times profit on some of these cards just because of the fact that you have them available and you've already drawn people in on these draw cards to bring them into your store. And people look and just buy multiple things just because, well, why not? I can finish my collection, finish out my master set because, hey, he's got that reverse, he's got that hollow, he's got this particular card that's a little bit more uncommon than the rest of them, and they can continue to purchase. And it's done really well. Overall, it's done a really good job at the end of the day of getting traffic through my site and getting that continual motion. So now, next part that we're going to talk about is the actual performance. All right, guys, so now this is the part that everybody wants to see, right? The real nuts and bolts of the whole process and how this 30 days actually went. So this started on March 10th, and I ran it all the way up to April 10th. And we went through a total of $415.13 of sales. Now, that's just the gross sales. Now, you got to remember on TCG Player, you're losing about 13% of that. So with 13%, I lost $84.13 to TCG Player. That brings a grand total of $331 to myself. And then on top of it, I had to cover shipping. Now, the nice thing is that because of the fact that these are multiple orders, there's a lot of these orders that are buying 5 to 20 cards inside of them. It ends up actually not being as much for the shipping. So my total shipping with envelope, penny sleeves, and then of course getting the stamps, all my other stuff, everything on it, it actually costs me for the envelope, penny sleeves, and everything on average right around 78 cents to ship one of these. So I'm still making a little bit of money on the shipping too at this point. I've had one order out of all of my orders so far go over a total of that went over an ounce. So I had to pay, of course, the 2-ounce stamp for that one, which, yeah, that one costs a little bit more, but overall it averages out. So I'm still making decent amount of profit when it comes down to the shipping side, just covering myself at 99 cents. Now, like I said, I've heard people have really good success at $1.99. I mean, I just haven't had enough sales personally to push me to that point. I mean, that one was like, dang it. I mean, I'm going to have to pay another, 60 cents for the 64 cents or whatever it was for the shipping on that, for that secondary stamp, but it really wasn't a big killer at the end of the day. It hasn't really diluted that shipping to the point where I need to be changing my tactics on it. So I just kind of let it go. So my overall shipping for this month with a total amount of orders was a total of $42, which gives me this lovely grand total right next to me. So once again, guys, this has been a really good experience. And yes, I mean, I didn't make a total of $400. I had $400 in sales, which is pretty good. Typically on TCG Player, I was only selling really chase cards and really playable trainer cards with a lot of research and a lot of digging. And by doing this, as you can see behind me, yeah, it took me probably 3 days with 2 hours a day sorting, getting everything in line and alphabetized so that I can find things really quickly. Of course, I alphabetized everything really nicely so that I could find it really efficiently. And that was my point, is I spent a little bit more time on the upfront setup of it, but it gave me that quick and efficient finding of these cards. So I can pull roughly 10 to 15 orders in probably 20 minutes. I can have them all ready to go. I got my printer and I print my labels real fast, stick them on the envelopes. I got my, return labels already pre-printed, stick them on a stamp, and I'm ready to rock and roll. It doesn't take me very long to get these orders out the door. So once again, guys, if you want to put a little bit of effort into the Pokemon TCG and you want to put a little bit of a grind onto things, there's definitely those opportunities on TCG Player right now selling those bulk cards, especially with the new era and the new, we're starting up the new tournaments coming up here in April, so there's a lot of deck building happening currently in order to get these sets done and build battle decks to start countering Scarlet and Violet, of course, with the new era of Pokemon TCG. So there's a lot of things happening right now. There's a lot of building, A lot of changing. Every set that gets released is definitely changing the aspect of how people are building decks. Of course, they're getting a glimpse of it from Japan, so even the Japanese sets are getting counter built right here now. So there's a lot of cards always being sold for that tournament play. So once again, there's always that opportunity in the bulk with the trainers especially. But honestly, I've sold everything right across the board, even cards I didn't think would take very high precedence at 15 cents. And if they don't sell, I figured eventually I'll just get them all wrapped up and send them out for my own bulk. Get the, cent and a half, 2 cents back, and whatever I sell, I make decent money on it. But at the end of the day, what I've kind of realized is that if it's there, people buy it. And it's been moving fairly well. And you would think that, hey, you had to reload. You had to put more stock in. No, I haven't done anything in 30 days. The stock that I listed 30 days is the same stock that's listed now. And I haven't even listed Astral Radiance, Lost Origins, or Silver Tempest. That's what I'm working on here this weekend. I wanted to get through this whole 30 days without touching anything. I didn't add a darn card to the whole system, and it has been doing fantastic. So once again, even the stock that I have, the trainers I've had, the things that I've had available have pushed this really well. And even today, I've had another 5 orders coming through. I need to average about $13 a day in order to maintain that $400. And hey, it's been hitting it. Even here 2 days or a day after the whole release of this, it's still, I'm getting about $14 in sales here today at the end of the day. So once again, I am maintaining without adding. I haven't done any more sorting. I have cards that I sorted when I did the ones behind me. I just didn't list them. I ran out of time, and I didn't want to maybe alter the results. I wanted to keep it as clean as possible and see how 30 days would perform. So anyways, we'll just stop here and we'll do a little wrap up here. All right, guys, so to wrap this up in a nice, neat little package, there is opportunities in bulk. If you want to be able to go through and be able to sell bulk, you can definitely do so. There's a great market for it at the end of the day in TCG Player. And to be honest with you, if I had probably relisted and continually kind of moving forward into continually adding stock, holding stock, adding stock, and moving stock around and doing a little bit more active, I could probably have stretched that even further. This was really just a passive. Once I did the active of getting it on TCG Player, sorting it, and getting it listed, realistically, it became a hands-off. I just kind of let it go, and I just printed labels and collected cards and put them in envelopes and just dropped them in the mailbox to get them out of here. Overall, I've gotten all 5-star ratings, which is a fantastic deal for myself. It's really good to be able to see all these 5 stars, which means it's just building my credibility on TCG Player. Take the extra time. I'm taking the extra time of putting them in as secure as I can. I bought these little 1-cent brown envelopes. They do fantastic, and I'll put it next to me here in a picture if I can find one. But they're just a little brown envelope, and I put the card saver inside of there, a penny sleeve inside of there. The cards, I wrap it, and then it's sealed up really nice for shipping. Overall, it does a really good job of keeping those cards secure so they don't move around, shake around, and spread out, get bent. Keeps them all together. If I'm sending like a little bit higher end card, like a $7 or $8 card that I did sell a few of them chase cards, maybe 3 of them in this month, then I just put in a couple energy cards on top of it just to keep it rigid while it's going through. Been working just fantastic, guys. Overall, shipping has been really good so far. I haven't lost any, and everything's been doing good. So once again, overall, really happy with the results. Once again, just do a little wrap up. Of course, you can go ahead and sort your bulk, get everything set up, get it listed on TCG Player, and let TCG Player do its job. Let these people find you. The more bulk, of course, you have, the better off in the performance you're going to do. If you put up only 3,000-4,000 bulk cards, you may not see, of course, $400 in sales. You're going to see quite a bit less. But if you can actually get more bulk on it, which is where now I'm starting to kind of push for them bulk sales and be able to pick that up now that I'm starting to build that side of things and roll money forward again. Buying these bulk orders and getting this bulk from people will really assist on continuing to roll this forward and making it more income and continue to roll that back into the business side of things to, once again, keep building up that inventory of my investment and also my collection at the same time. So once again, guys, hopefully this is some good information. Hopefully this helps you out if you're looking at TCG Player. And of course, dude, guys, it really wasn't a lot of work. I mean, yeah, the original setup for about 6 hours to sort and get everything all set up and get it all going and getting it all in the boxes and then list on TCG Player has been well worth it. If I consider this isn't just going to be a 1 month of making income, this is multiple months that we're looking at continuing on this. And yes, I'm going to list some more products this month. Got everything set up. Now that it's set up, as I get more bulk, I sort it right away. I'm not as clumsy and klutzy as I was, where I was just kind of throwing it on a shelf. Even when I'm doing box breaks now, I'm sorting it, pre-sorting it, and keeping it all clean so that I can find it quick. Because let's be honest, when it was crazy and everybody's making money on box breaks and opening up product and going through and just whatever, you were just going ahead and throwing them in a pile. You weren't really considering the price of bulk had dropped so far. So once again, guys, hopefully some good information. Hopefully if you're looking at this avenue, this gives you some insight on how you use TCG Player, how you can use that little listing for advantages, and how creating a floor for some of these pricing works really well. I know some people don't like floors, but I love the floor idea. Once again, if I don't sell these cards, so what? I'm telling them at 2 cents just doesn't make sense. If I can sell them at 15 cents, then it makes a lot of sense to do it. And I think that that's a really good alternative to do things in the long run. So overall, guys, hopefully some good information. Hopefully this helps you out on your Pokemon journey, especially if you're trying to become self-sufficient in your Pokemon investing and collecting. And I will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.